Hello students, my name is Junaid Bashir. Hope you are doing well. Today we are going to have a talk on the topic biosafety issues related to human genetics, health and environment. The topic will be discussed with the following objectives. Number 1, biosafety of human genetics. Number 2, biosafety of human health and environment. Number 3, cloned genes in medicine and industry. Number 4, gene cloning in agriculture and biosafety issues associated with it. Now, first of all, we will discuss about biosafety. Over the past 3 decades, our ability to transform life forms has revolutionized modern biotechnology. Scientists can isolate DNA from various species, alter them with precise accuracy and transform them from one organism to other. For example, a gene from cold water fish can be transformed into tomato genome to make frost resistant tomato plants, or a bacterial gene can be used to make a plant insect resistant. The resultant product in such transformations is called living modified organisms or genetically modified organisms. The initial success of the commercialization of the first transgenic crop has led to increased scientific focus on genetic transformations, and dozens of crops and animals have been modified, some for higher yield or improved nutrition, and many others for better medical treatments and new industrial products. However, this scientific pursuit of creating genetically modified organisms has left many questions unanswered. These questions revolve around the interaction of the modified product with the ecosystem, its evolution and interaction with other species. Gene transfer from genetically modified plants to wild types through wind pollination or insect resistant plants tending to repel even the beneficial insects that help in pollination. Even as the scientific community is working hard to solve these questions, we do not have all the answers yet, partly because the pace of research in genetic transformation has been much faster in the last decade, and partly because observations around such issues need more time to be monitored, since it could take a few generations of the product to show an effect. Whichever be the case, there is a potential risk of bioagents used in transformations getting released to the environment, and also an unknown risk of the effect of genetically modified product on its ecosystem. Biosafety then is the application of knowledge, techniques and equipment to prevent personal, laboratory and environmental exposure to any such biohazard while maximizing the benefits of biotechnology. Biosafety is defined as the discipline addressing the safe handling and containment of infectious microorganisms and hazardous biological materials. The aim of biosafety is to reduce or eliminate accidental exposure to infectious agents and to prevent release of infectious agents to the environment. Infectious agents include bacteria, fungi, viruses, parasites and other cell cultures that can pose a risk to environment, animal and human health. Biosafety is achieved by assessing, managing and evaluating all the environmental risks and their ecological consequences and weighing these against the potential benefits. Now we will discuss about biosafety of human genetics. The research in human biotechnology can be characterized into four categories: understanding human genetic diseases by producing transgenic animals to provide information on genetic function and regulation, producing potential recombinant pharmaceutical proteins from transgenic animals which can be used for human medicine. For example, producing transgenic goats or cows to produce protein in their milk which can be used in pharmaceuticals. Production of xeno organs from transgenic pigs for human xenotransplantation. Manipulation of fertilized eggs and in vitro fertilization to help human assisted reproduction and breeding of endangered animal species. Now, what are the concerns related to biotechnology research? The concerns in the field of biotechnology are as follows: probable impact on environment, concerns over the safety of food produced from genetically modified animals, allergenicity, toxicity, infectious virus or prion causing diseases like mad cow disease. Xenotransplant of the organs from animals to humans increases the risk of suppression of recipient immunity. Also, there is a risk of cross infection due to transmission of pathogens. If the animal is produced for biopharmaceutical protein, there are the chances of drug residues in animal that can create drug resistance if consumed as food. Therefore, any intentional use of such animals need tight safety assessments before it can be used for human in any form. Now we will discuss about biosafety for human health and environment. Biotechnology is a revolutionary field and emerged as a powerful industry. The application of biotechnology offers innumerable benefits to human needs and environment. It has the immense potential to redefine and reshape the world around us. But if proper measures are not being taken, it can lead to tragic change in the natural world. Our very genetically modified organism has to be dealt with biosafe environment to avoid any kind of risks associated with it. The Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety focuses on the biosafety regulations for genetically modified organisms, products and crops. There are strict regulations that have to be followed under the guidelines of biosafety, which help avoid release into the environment and is a valuable tool for supporting environmental and food risks. Transgenic technology crosses the species barrier as compared to classical selection techniques, thereby permitting the gene transfer among microorganisms, plants and animals. This means that the concerns associated with use of genetically modified organisms can differ greatly depending on the particular gene organism combination, and therefore a case by case approach is required for risk assessment and management. Potential risks broadly fall under two categories. Number 1, risk to human health. Risks to human health are related mainly to exposure, toxicity, allergenicity and antibiotic resistance. Number 2, risk to environment. Risks to environment due to release of genetically modified organisms include impact of imparted traits on other related species, the potential build-up of resistance in insect populations, effect on biodiversity, and unintended effects on non-target organisms. The broad format of biosafety parameters applies to two main stages. First one is laboratory stage, that is contaminant stage, and second is field trial stage. Prevention of the spread of genetically engineered material outside lab or in the field is done by assigning them to different biosafety levels as per the degree of risk involved. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention and National Institute of Health has developed 4 biosafety levels that describe laboratory practices and techniques, safety equipment and facility design features recommended for work with specific infectious organisms. The recommended biosafety level for an organism represents conditions under which the agent can normally be handled safely. However, specific circumstances may dictate that the recommended conditions be raised or lowered. Individual worker should be appropriately trained and must understand the conditions like containment or the conditions where infectious agent can be safely manipulated and good laboratory practices which can minimize exposure to pathogens. Biosafety and biocontaminant practices and procedures are designed to reduce the exposure of laboratory personnel, the public, agriculture and the environment to potentially hazardous biological agents. Laboratory biosafety practices are based on the principle of contaminant of biological agents to prevent exposure to laboratory workers and the outside environment. Primary containment protects the laboratory workers and the immediate laboratory environment from exposure to biological agents. Primary containment is achieved through good microbial technique and the use of safety equipment and personal protective equipment. Secondary containment protects the environment outside the laboratory and is provided by facility design and operational procedures. Now, what are the laboratory practices and technique? The use of good microbial technique is the most important element of contaminant. Personnel working with biological agents must be aware of hazards and must be trained to safely handle and dispose of these materials. Although we are all responsible for our own safety, the principal investigator is responsible for ensuring that persons working in their laboratory are adequately trained. Safety equipment includes biological safety equipment, safety centrifuge cups and other engineered controls designed to minimize exposure to biological agents. Biological safety cabinets are the most important safety equipment for protection of personnel and the laboratory environment. And most BSCs also provide product protection. Safety equipment is most effective at minimizing exposure. When workers are trained on the proper use of such equipment and the equipment is regularly inspected and maintained. Now we will talk about personal protective equipment. Personal protective equipment includes safety eyewear, lab coats, gloves and other protective equipment and is used to supplement the containment provided by laboratory practices and safety equipment. Personal protective equipment is considered the least desirable containment method because its failure results in direct exposure of personal to the biological agent. Facility design. Facility design features include physical separation of laboratories from public access, specially designed ventilation systems to prevent airborne biological agents from migrating outside the laboratory, and autoclaves. These design features protect personnel working outside the immediate laboratory as well as the outside environment. Now we will discuss about biosafety issues for using cloned genes in medicine, agriculture, industry and eco-protection. First of all, we will discuss about cloning. Cloning describes the process used to create an exact genetic replica of another cell, tissue or organism. The copied material, which has the same genetic makeup as the original, is referred to as clone. The most famous clone was a Scottish sheep named Dolly. There are three different types of cloning. Number one, gene cloning, which creates copies of genes or segments of DNA. Number two, reproductive cloning, which creates copies of whole animals. Number three, therapeutic cloning, which creates embryonic stem cells. Researchers hope to use these cells to grow healthy tissue to replace injured or diseased tissue in the human body. Advanced biotechnology like gene cloning has generated a series of potential applications in agriculture, animal husbandry, medical applications, environmental management and industrial products. But at the same time, there have been growing concerns on the adverse effects of biotechnology. These concerns relate to the harm to the environment, animal and human health as a result of extensive release of genetic modified organisms in the ecosystem. Now, cloned genes in medicine and industry. The ability to clone a gene is not only valuable for conducting biological research. Many important pharmaceutical drugs and industrial enzymes are produced from cloned genes. For example, insulin, clotting factors, human growth hormone, cytokines, which are cell growth stimulants, and several anti-cancer drugs in use are produced from cloned genes. Before the advent of gene cloning, these proteins had to be purified from their natural tissue sources, a difficult, expensive and inefficient process. Using recombinant methods, biomedical companies can prepare these important proteins more easily and inexpensively than they previously could. In addition, in many cases, the product that is produced is more effective and more highly purified. For example, before the hormone insulin, which many diabetes patients must inject, became available as a recombinant human protein, it was purified from pig and cow pancreases. However, pig and cow insulin have a slightly different amino acid sequence than the human hormone. This sometimes led to the immune reactions in patients. The recombinant human version of the hormone is identical to the natural human version, so it causes no immune reaction. Gene cloning is also used to produce many of the molecular tools used to study genes. Even restriction enzymes, DNA ligase, DNA polymerases and many of the other enzymes used for recombinant DNA methods are themselves, in most cases, produced from cloned genes, as are enzymes used in many other industrial processes. Dear students, now we will discuss about gene cloning in agriculture. Agriculture has been the mainstay of Indian economy over the years and can be termed as a major success story in terms of food production capability. Though Green Revolution was successful in creating food security, but nutritional security was still a challenge for the plant breeders. They still faced heavy losses in crop production due to damage by insects, pathogens, weeds, and biotic and abiotic stresses during both pre and post harvest stages. The only solution to the present problem is the use of transgenic technology. Transgenic technology has opened new horizons in the field of agriculture. It holds great promise to meet the challenges for accelerated and sustainable agriculture production. Transgenic plants have been developed for a variety of purposes like longer shelf life, pest resistance, disease resistance, biotic and abiotic citrus resistance, nutritional improvement, etc. Genetic engineering has helped not only diversification but also genetic restructuring of organisms by which plants can act as biofactories for the production of biologically important molecules, which can be used in diagnostics and therapeutics such as immunoglobulin, interferon, growth factors, recombinant vaccines, etc. The rapid progress in transgenic biotechnology has promoted the production of genetically modified crops. The research in plant biotechnology is mainly concerned with the following areas: micropropagation of plants using plant tissue culture techniques. Number 2, production of transgenic plants with elite traits such as resistance to disease, pest and environmental stress. Number 3, production of plants for environment cleanup, which is termed as phytoremediation. Development of plants with enhanced nutritional value like golden rice, transgenic soya with cholesterol reducing peptide, etc. Transgenic crop with higher yield. Transgenic crop to remove natural allergens and toxins like allergenic protein in groundnuts. Increased shelf life to reduce post-harvest losses like Flavorsaire variety, the first transgenic tomato. Using plants as a bioreactor for biopharmaceuticals, edible vaccines for humans and livestock. Now we will discuss about biosafety concerns related to agriculture. Various risks associated with genetically modified crops may pose potential biosafety problems for food and health, environmental, socio-economics and ethics. Some are following. Number 1, presence of allergens and toxins in food. Unknown results from the transgenic plants which can harm environment and humans. Number 3, fear of contaminating human food with genetically modified food which is not meant for humans, like in case of Starlink maize. Number 4, development of antibiotic resistance due to use of antibiotic resistance marker genes in the gene construction. Number 5, gene flow of transgenic genes to wild species and threat to biodiversity. Number 6, interactions and influences of transgene and genetic modified plants on diversity, ecosystem, soil microbes and target organisms. Labeling of genetically modified food, social and the economic impact of genetically modified crops to the society. Agriculture biotechnology can provide new ways to improve the quality and yield of genetically modified crops. In India, there are many labs that are engaged in creating transgenic crops with improved characteristics. Creating plants with elite traits is the only answer to the question of food security for future generations. But all these crops need proper assessment before they are ready to enter the food chain, owing to the health challenges they may cause. So, in order to have their safe distribution, their allergenicity and toxicity assessment is needed prior to their commercialization. Proper guidelines need to be followed for their commercial release as per Indian and international norms. Dear students, now we will talk about eco protection. Genetic engineering might be the key to long-term survival of vulnerable species in the wild. For example, plague resistance in black-footed ferret. Engineering plague resistance in the black-footed ferret is largely for conservation purposes. Blocking transmission is an important factor if scientists ever want to apply this technique to other species in order to protect humans. Perhaps in the future, this genetic engineering trick could be applied to other animals that transmit plague to humans either through bites or via fleas, like prairie dogs in the United States, black rats in Madagascar, or great gerbils in Kazakhstan. Dear students, this was all about biosafety issues related to human genetics, health and environment. Hope you might have understood and enjoyed this topic. Thank you.